Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's a bit of an awkward motion to get involved with because the suggestions of the motion are indeed accurate and can be taken in a good context. I agree with the concept. However, the motion fails in a way that it does not recognize the significant advancements that have been put in place by the Saskatchewan Party government. You know, a test to this whole fact is the fact that we are serious about health issues in this province and the way they're managed, Mr. Speaker. And when we look at the overall health budget of how it's increased over the years, we've got over 900 more doctors practicing in the province than we did in 2007, Mr. Speaker. There's over 3,000 nurses of every designation practicing in the province since 2007. We have new hospitals, and we're blessed with a new hospital in Moose Jaw, as well as the new hospital that is being erected in North Battleford, and the Children's Hospital, which is much needed in this province. So our commitment to health is very important, and we're very serious about looking after it. The fact is significant that more has to be done. But we are progressing and we are investing very, very strategically in a lot of aspects of health. This government has invested substantially more in health care, in medical staff, in hospitals, in care homes, in special services, including mental health counseling and in treatments, Mr. Speaker. You know, I made the comment some time ago to one of my constituents that there will never be enough money for health. And I believe that. Well, he reiterated by saying, well, there is, but it has to be managed well. You know, I guess there's a medium there somewhere that there always needs to be more money. There's always more that can we do, but it has to be managed well. And I think this budget serves the health needs as best we can, and we're always looking for more to do and better ways and setting priorities. And we recognize the priorities that are required, and mental health by this government is a priority. We recognize mental health and addictions is an important issue, Mr. Speaker. You know, just in reading the material, getting ready for this debate, I was impressed with the amount of initiative and the programs that have been put in place by our government, particularly in northern Saskatchewan. Our Saskatchewan Party government is to be commended for the increase in the funding that they have done, and professional assistance and support since taking over government in 2007. And that's not a boasting statement, Mr. Speaker. There are extreme demands and always more that is required. However, we have come a long way, even if knowing that more has to be done. The Saskatchewan Party government is taking significant steps toward improving services for mental health and addiction, and will continue to keep these services a high priority. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to mental health, there have been great gains. However, there's still much more to learn and to understand. I understand a little bit more about depression because there is some in my family. I recall a mother phoning me or talking to me and telling me about her adult daughter who called home one day about 4:30 and said, "Mom, I can't get off the couch. I know my husband's going to be home shortly and the dinner dishes are still on the table, but I can't get off the couch." And what do you say to somebody like that? Do you tell them to take another pill? That doesn't do any good if they can't get off the couch. I know everyone in this room will find it hard to understand about depression. I know it. I was like that too. But depression is a cruel illness, and there's no logic explanation that can be made. And depression seems to be more common in our society than it used to. Perhaps it's because in years past, depression was not diagnosed as depression, but we know it has been a factor in the humankind since probably the beginning. You know, I think of Walter Scott, the first Premier of the province, suffered severe bouts of depression during his tenure as Premier. Yet he achieved tremendous goals in planning and creating and building our province. Today we understand more about depression and realize more has to be done. There's still much more to do, and we don't recognize depression for all it is, but there still needs to be done. When you think of taking just another pill, if you can't get off the couch to take it, it really does you no good. So there's a lot to be done. And mental health goes far beyond depression. It may involve addictions, trauma, family violence, loss of employment. These need to be supported, and our government is committed to increasing mental health supports across the province, including the North. In the 2018 budget, our government is investing $11.4 million in new targeted mental health initiatives, targeted physician training programs, continued expanding suicide prevention efforts, enhancing community access to mental health and addiction services. We're hiring 40 more full-time employees for development of multidisciplinary community resource recovery teams in 8 communities to provide support to individuals with complex and persistent mental health issues. Mental health and addiction is not limited to the Ministry of Health, and the member opposite was talking about percentages, but there are other avenues, other ministries that are involved. The Ministry of Justice provides a free one-on-one counseling service for adults and youth that have experienced family violence. There's group counseling, therapy for children exposed to domestic violence. The Minister of Corrections and Policing as Mental Health Court, operated in partnership with the Minister of Justice and Attorney General. Crime reduction strategies targeted high-risk offenders, and mental health services in youth custody for youth in Kilburn Hall. The Minister of Social Services contributes to it, and funding provided for 1.5 mental health coordinators positioned in community-based organizations used to determine the level of support required for community living services delivered to clients with disability and mental health issues. The Minister of Education is involved with mental health for anti-bullying initiatives and a K-12 mental health resource for counselors, psychologists, and social workers. Even the Minister of Agriculture has the farm stress line. So there's a lot to be involved from across government to assist in mental health. Mr. Speaker, mental health is a serious issue. It is a health priority that our government takes seriously and crosses many of its ministries. To suggest that action be taken is a lack of understanding on the mover of this particular motion, Mr. Speaker. And while the motion raises an important issue and one our government takes very seriously, it cannot support the motion put forward by the members of it. Mr. Speaker, our government has been consistent in our support for mental health and mental health issues, and will continue to do so. We've invested a large amount of money, increasing to do so as we move forward to look after the people that require the help they need in these kinds of situations. Mr. Speaker, I won't be supporting the motion as presented opposite. Thank you.